a subway car covered from end to end in graffiti. It's a cool sight, a throwback to some, but how did the vandals get the time and access to this train? CBS 2's Marcia Kramer is demanding answers tonight from the MTA.
Paint transit officials' faces red. Also orange, turquoise, green, blue, all the colors in the spray paint palette. Transit officials at a loss to explain away a devastating video of an F train defaced from one end to the other, top to bottom, doors, windows, everything covered in graffiti. How is it possible that somebody was able to get onto the tracks and spend clearly hours and hours painting a train from one end to the other and nobody noticed, that no conductor noticed as they went by? No security person went by.
Well, look, we're looking into this. I mean, that layup section is protected, so there's a few questions to be answered. It is subject to security.
The video was tweeted by the Police Benevolent Association, comparing it to the bad old days of the 70s and 80s, when graffiti vandals covered the trains with their tags. The union called it a true sign of decay, one that we worked so hard to eradicate decades ago. The taggers had plenty of time to cover this entire train because they know there are no more consequences. Hashtag back to the future. The F train was found over the weekend while out of service on a side track at the Church Avenue station in Brooklyn, even though a sign warns do not enter or cross tracks. Officials say that in order to reach the parked train, the graffiti artist had to walk down the tracks and avoid the live third rail. John Jay College professor Robert McCree raises security issues, saying it's important to protect trains from the bad guys.
Perhaps they could plant a bomb, or they could injure the mechanical facility in some way. The public shouldn't be there.
While the MTA insists so-called major graffiti hits are down from 443 incidents in 2018 to 298 last year, the total number of markings has surged from about 200 each year in the first half of the decade to 619 in 2018. There were 537 incidents through mid-December.
One hit is one hit too many. It's selfish. It's vandalism.
And it's also expensive. It costs thousands of dollars to clean the train. In Brooklyn, I'm Marcia Kramer, CBS 2 News.
I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official queen of this murderers. Tomorrow comes the quest for warfare. Word of my crime family who got enough shots to share. Who wanna profile a pose? Rock you in the face, stab your brain with your nose bone. You all alone in these streets, cousin. Every man put himself in the hand with beginning. And keep them cold running like they're supposed to. Come around when they never come close to me. I can see it inside the face, sitting the wrong place. I'm a writer, you get their whole body. We're bullet holes. Speak the wrong words, man, and you will get touched. Get your whole army, get my team. I guarantee you it'll be your very last time breathing. Don't move, minor, major. All up in the game, soon to be a player. Don't make me have to put your name out. You do a pepper me. My gunshots to me, you never say.
Graffiti sprayed on subway trains this week has sparked a nasty war of words between former New York City Commissioner Bill Bratton and the MTA. CBS 2's Dave Carlin has more tonight.
The discovery of this E-train covered with freshly painted vandalism Wednesday was exclusively reported by us the same day, and it's stirring up some finger-pointing between the Metropolitan Transportation Authority and the New York City Police Department. Colorfully vandalized trains and colorful language from former Police Commissioner Bill Bratton tweeting about our story on graffiti-covered trains, at least 5 cases since June, that he calls outrageous. He says, where is the security, and why are trains visible to the public in a way that gives, quote, these graffiti clowns the attention they crave. He wrote, heads need to roll at the MTA. What if these were terrorists and not nitwits? Some riders agree.
It's pretty cool, but it's dangerous. That takes a lot of time, so they could do other stuff in that same amount of time.
The MTA has a red-hot, irritated response to Bratton that inaccurate claims like these are irresponsible. Bratton's tweet suggested it happened in rail yards when it happened in tunnels, where NYPD has jurisdiction. The trains were visible to the public only as they were being sent to yards for cleanup. Now NYPD confirms it is responsible for the tunnels, and extra resources are being deployed in them.
With each case, concern grows about these areas where trains are often stored, that they are soft targets.
Transportation expert Carl Berkowitz wonders why not also add many more cameras to the tunnels.
When they identify somebody, crossing the path of the camera, will notify train control that, hey, somebody's intruding.
New York's governor is aware of this. We made sure of that.
It's covered with graffiti end to end, top to bottom. Is there anything about security there that concerns you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know but I will check.
Bratton compared the situation now to the graffiti-rich bygone decades of the 70s and 80s, warning New Yorkers, wake up before you lose your city once again to rising crime and disorder. In Lower Manhattan, Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.